Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Fronti.
We're very appreciative that we have Mark Figearo, who's been walking us through some of the items that we have had to deal with, meaning our competitors. We have researched a lot. I have actually sat down with quite a few of his competitors to find out what's the difference between one solar versus another company versus the installation versus product. So we talked a little bit about product because I want to go into a little bit more on product because I learned a little bit about that, and then we'll go into the installation, which is super key.
Yeah, I'll jump on that real quick, Don. It's so the way we did our research, and we've known Mark now for a few years, but we still, we didn't take it for granted. We never do. And that's why we're here for you every single week. And what we always try to do is debunk every myth and guide you to personal and financial wellness. So Don did the live presentations, right? He had people come to his house. And what I did is I did the complete opposite. I did the internet experience, right?
That's what you do.
So I did Sunjevity,
really
I
like
did Sunrun, I did all the stuff. I got all the data that I could possibly get on the internet.
It's so he can keep eating while he's researching. The Italian thing.
Hey, you know what? I'm not offended by that anymore. Can you imagine, like 5 years ago when I was 110 pounds heavier? That would have been offensive. But the reality is we did go through a tremendous amount of information data dump, and we did end up back home, so to speak. So it's been a really nice experience, and going through that, you say, you know what, I was fine where I started. Thank goodness I went through this because now I'm 100% confident in our decision.
Yeah, let's start with, before we go into installation, because that's going to be a fun one because I can talk on that. But one thing I did learn is talking to a lot of companies, a lot of our marketing companies, just selling you the viability of potentially saving money on your electric bill. And it always sounds good. You can't lose, right? And then we started talking about product. And one of the companies, a huge company, won't say who it is, but a giant solar company.
Yeah, maybe one you see everywhere.
It's actually a financing company, I swear. It's all about that. Great presentation. Gave me great options, and then they gave me the layout of how many solar panels need to be on our home. And we live in a nice neighborhood. It's really imperative of how our homes look. It's not mishmash. We have an HOA, and they laid out theirs, and then Mark laid out his. And I'm like, and for the exact same power output, actually less because they were covering only 85% of our bill, and Mark was covering almost 100. And then I asked, well, Mark, you only show 34 panels having to go on my beautiful home. And the other company said 46, which is a big difference because now they're on other sides of my house, and you can kind of see them from the front of the house. And I'm like, I don't want that. I just spent a lot of money on my home, and we upkeep it really well. So I even called the other company and said, hey, I'm talking with Sunpower, and they said I only need 34. Why do you need 46? And he honestly, at least he was honest, goes,
that's cool.
He says, that's because their solar panels are more efficient than ours. And that was his answer. Did not BS, didn't try to sell a song and dance. He just said their solar panels are more efficient.
Yeah, so that's really important. I mean, for multiple reasons, right? Anything that's typically things that are more efficient have more engineering, a lot more hours behind it to make sure they're a great product. Efficiency is kind of the mark of great engineering, I think, in everything, in vehicles and everything we've seen in history.
Yeah, and I've always called Sunpower the BMW of solar because they're a bunch of engineering geeks. It's taken them forever to start marketing. I mean, you were talking about that large company, which we probably know who you're talking about.
Right.
They did about $300 million last year in revenue. Sunpower did $3 billion. Sunpower's profit almost equaled their total revenue. So huge difference. Sunpower's a worldwide company. They're in 45 countries worldwide, but they're California based. The profits, everything are being taxed here and taxed in the United States, and I think that's huge. They employ a lot of people in the United States, and the efficiency, and not only the upfront efficiency, but you guys did the panel break.
I'll give you the percentages per year.
Yeah, if your listeners, we'd love to have you come into the design center just to experience, the construction of a typical cell versus our cell.
Right.
And so with a typical conventional cell, 10 years down the road, you can be putting out as much as 13% less power. With Sunpower, in that same 10 years, you're putting 2 to 2.5% less power. So dramatic difference. So 10 years from now, rates have probably doubled, and now you're back 13% back on the utility company.
So that backs up the support of the quality of the construction and how it's made and how it's installed, meaning how you can make the installation so much cleaner.
Wait, real quick, one thing. And if you still have room on your roof in the future when power costs double, then you can still add more panels.
Well,
But if you already used them all up because they're inefficient, you're done.
We've got, it's getting very common for a client to say, hey, we just bought a Tesla. Well, a Tesla, unlike the plug-in hybrids, almost needs its own solar system. And if you've wiped out every inch of roof with your existing solar, now you got a big bill again because you're charging your Tesla.
Well, if they go through the Tesla company for solar, they're going to need more panels.
I don't know where they're going to put them. I don't know where they're going to put them because they've already covered the roof.
Exactly. So I didn't lead into who the other company was, but they're tied in with Tesla and a good company, but not as efficient. And I love the fact that you explained how you can have your insulation more lower profile, that the copper backing on your panels was really unique. I like that.
Well, Sunpower has over 200 design patents. The two key elements, as we talked when you were in the design center on Sunpower, is their copper backing that you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Copper is very flexible, so that's why the efficiency stays so high, because it doesn't crack, where a rigid metal is going to expand and contract on a typical
little
solar
micro
panel.
cracks, right?
Yeah, microfracturing. Very good. You did remember. I'm impressed. And so we have a lot of wind flex. So when you put a solar panel up high, which the typical solar panel builds up a lot of heat, and so they have to be up high. Well, now with our wind that we get up here,
I
wind flex,
I just found my tarp on the top of my heel.
So it's going. Those mounts are going to loosen over time. You got a big wing. With our low profile mounting, which you can only do with Sunpower because we don't have the heat buildup. Another one of the design factors is the mirrored backing. So that keeps the heat from building up. So we get this low profile. And you've seen our install.
yeah.
Again,
Beautiful.
invite your listeners to come into our design center and see how really
Beautiful.
again, beautiful aesthetics. But the benefit is
Yeah,
not
I
the
love
wind
that.
uplift, not the potential leak problems, and it just
The anchoring is so solid. There's not little posts that flex or anything. That thing's not moving.
I have it on the front of my house, and I tell people I'm the first house with solar on the left, and they go to my neighbors that somebody else did.
Yeah, I will attest to that. So Mark did a great job. He's like, can you follow me down to Southern Oaks? We know that neighborhood, one of the nicest neighborhood in our entire community, similar to my neighborhood. And he goes, let me show you ours. They're on both sides of one house that didn't use ours. And oh my goodness, I would love to take all of you there. And you can see it. Was it a first turn? And you can just
Magnolia.
Go to Magnolia.
Right past the park on the
I'm
left.
serious. You'll go, oh, I don't even have to show it to you. You'll just drive by and go, ew, what happened? Completely different. And one of my neighbors, unfortunately, he's the same company, and it is horrible. And I'm like, hey, thanks, buddy. You just made our whole neighborhood look, not so good. And this is night and day. You see your beautiful low profile, dark, and all the conduits. There is no conduit as far as you can see. On his, you can see it all the way down the side of the house. There's multiple conduits. It runs everywhere. You're like, oh, I could have done that.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a quick point there, right? Because I say this all the time in our mortgage practice, is when I'm talking to someone, I say, well, some of my best referral partners are my competitors. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I go, well, they do such a bad job that it's really easy to take work away from them in the future.
Well, I know we're running close on time, but we train our installers that you're our number one sales team, because they can like me, we have great consultants, but we do a lousy install, we're not going to get a referral.
That's 100% true.
We run over 60% referral. In our desire to create a Ritz-Carlton experience, we're looking to be 80% referrals in the next year.
All right. So we talked about having obviously the highest quality you can get, the best insulation you can possibly get, beautiful. It's nice to talk about solar and saying it's beautiful for your house. And then, so we're going to go into the hot topic you're all waiting for. How much does this cost? What are our options to put solar on our home? And luckily, there's multiple options, good and bad. We're going to go over both because you need to know what you need to know when it comes to solar. And luckily, we have Mark Figearo with Sunpower Green Convergence on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. We'll be back. Don't go away.